What is up, everybody? I'm No Lex Given, and today we are going to be taking a look at one of the best comebacks in Storybook Brawl. In just one turn, I turn everything around and go from last place, almost 8th, on the verge of losing, to having a game-winning comp. We're going to be taking a look at Zippy the Zombie in this one, and you can kind of see how we are getting off to an awkward start here as I am picking up some polywoggles. I mentioned yesterday that I might move some videos around and try not to have a bunch of polywoggle games back to back, and then I realized that all of my games feature polywoggles and there's nothing to be done about it. I just love polywoggle. I love trying to find ways to high roll. I think not too long ago we looked at a really cool Zippy the Zombie game where I used polywoggle to get ahead and find some good boys and do some really funky stuff with that. So just kind of keeping those ideas in mind again. This shop is a little bit awkward. I don't have too much going on here. I pick up Cindy, which does have some synergy with Zippy the Zombie, and then just pick up a baby dragon because it's like a reasonable character, but definitely not off to the greatest start, though I am still at 38 health. That part's still good. I don't really think polywoggles have any chance of slaying against Skip, the time skipper, though, so that part is kind of fine, and then yeah, we'll wind up taking a little bit of damage from Skip. And now we just want to try to find some ways to grab a little bit of strength. I'm going to pick up some ranged characters here, and with the Labyrinth Minotaur, we can kind of put some extra attack on the Shadow Assassin, so I backline the Minotaur, and then I put polywoggles in slots 5 and 6, hoping that they could maybe slay in those positions. Definitely not super strong. I don't feel super weak at this point in the game either. We're at least playing 7 characters, though yeah, that will happen when you're playing with polywoggle, and that's definitely a little bit of a risk too, as I was kind of alluding to earlier on Zippy the Zombie. Zippy is a really powerful endgame hero, and to be honest, you don't have to do any of these silly tricks that I try to do on the hero. If you just make it to the late game with Zippy, you've got a decent shot to win. So yeah, that's definitely something to consider if you want to try some of these crazy, wacky strategies like I got going on. But either way, this is where we are. Potentially could have used the Forbidden Fruit after we had picked up like Spellweaver on that last turn. That could have been a way to think about that there, but not going to work out. We are just going to pick up that Forbidden Fruit and then pick up another Labyrinth Minotaur, add a little bit more strength to the board, makes both of our ranged characters in the front line have 4 attack, though we're not scaling. We're not really doing anything. We're just picking up some random characters and trying to have like a mediocre board, so maybe that way we can start to activate our evil twins. And that's looking okay here. My opponent's got a donkey and they've got a black cat, which we can farm a little bit, but we will also wind up taking some damage. But here, we do get to pick up the triple for polywoggle, so that looks nice, and Crown of Atlas. I've already checked it off my bucket list, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to pick it up again. Another Crown of Atlas game seems really sweet, and there are some interesting synergies you could do with Evil Twin before anything super crazy happens that can be a decent amount of fun. I'm going to lock onto the triple here and see if there's anything we can do with that too, and then I'll end off the turn by firing off an Earthquake. Tick down Cindy, makes us stronger for a turn, could be pretty good. I didn't mention this yet because I didn't want to spoil it, but you may have noticed this board, like I've been saying, it's not super strong, it's also super fragile. If my opponent has a Ring of Meteors or Falling Stars, which the Fates here does, half of my board goes away, and an Earthquake is not going to be enough to save us. Our Shadow Assassins are 2/3s now, and overall, this is looking pretty terrible. We're going to take a ton of damage here, go down to 12th, and ultimately be on the verge of dying, I feel like, this turn. Then we're going to triple the Shadow Assassin, grab a Crystal Ball. We can also pick up both of these donkeys and Evil Twin that to grab another treasure, that winds up giving us Merlin's hat. So now we've got Hat Ball, and we can cast a few more spells, flip over Cinderella to grab even more spells. That gives us Big Book of Spells, and now all of a sudden, I actually feel like we're pretty strong. So I'm going to move some things around here. We will put the Polywoggle behind the Stag. We'll throw in the Cindy because a 4/4 is bigger than a 3/2, and then we will also... I think I said that already. Put the Polywoggle behind the Stag, and then I'll move this Donkey to the front line as well now. And yeah, now kind of out of nowhere, our board got a lot stronger with 2 upgraded characters. We are going to have that Toil and Trouble land on the Polywoggle as well, and then Stag gets to attack. So the Minotaur will go down, but this combat was super funny. We wind up spawning double Soul Tax to protect this Polywoggle. We're going to be slaying with this Polywoggle. That gives us a Wombats in Disguise, and there you go. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got a board and we got a game. So an upgraded Wombats in Disguise seems really nice. That kind of makes me want to pick up some stuff like Friendly Spirit. That would be a pretty nice addition to this board, as well as being a good character and a monster that I want to put all my spells on. I do wind up throwing some spells on the Spell Weaver as well, because we're pretty likely to have that one stick around for a while. And then, yeah, just going to cast a few more spells to round out the turn. We can shard something. I guess, yeah, the Sherwood Sure Shot is a good unit to shard. And then we can Mask Ball to find a bunch of level 5 characters. That seems sweet to me too. And we'll lock onto a pair of Robin Hoods before rolling, actually. So I guess I decided I didn't want that. I thought that would have been fine enough. I'm really looking for Aeon there, I suppose. And a pair of Robin Hoods just wasn't going to cut it. The thing is, well, I am actually a little bit surprised that I rolled past that. It does make some sense. There's not really great tier 5 treasures that we can get even, and so it's just not super exciting. And we end up rolling into a Beauty's Influence, which is fantastic. Now we can make copies of Spellweaver and just continue to cast a bunch of spells here. I'm going to continue to put another Beauty's Influence on my second Spellweaver. That way, I don't have to worry about what's going to happen when I combine them with Evil Twins, because I have 2 ones that are evil and one that's good. I know that they've changed some things around with that with Zippy the Zombie, but I just didn't want to chance it. I wanted to be able to grab a good Spellweaver upgraded, and then we can continue to just grab a bunch of Evil Twins out of that. That would be really, really powerful. I'm going to throw as many of my other spells as possible onto my Friendly Spirit, other than, of course, that True Love's Kiss, which I have to throw onto my upgraded tier 5 character. Now, one interesting thing is I could have grabbed that treasure map, and that would have potentially allowed me to farm like a tier 5 treasure starting next turn. That's generally what I do try to do in these endgames, but I felt like giving up Big Book of Spells this early would have been a mistake. I don't even have the Aeon yet, so yeah, I just thought it would be too soon to try to go for something like that. I'm going to be able to grab some free XP, the ending onto Cinderella, and then we can probably Mix-a-Whizzle on this Bear Stain just to see if we get anything better, though keeping it as a good unit meant that we could have Shard of the Ice Queened it, so maybe this was a little bit of a mistake. We could have put both of those on like this Shadow Assassin, for instance, and then it would have been prepped and ready to go. But we'll grab an Aeon shortly after that. Grabbing Aeon is good because that means that you can toss the hat in the future, and then I will wind up picking up another character just to feed it to the Kraken. We can even grab some more XP here by feeding these Time Flies to the Kraken if we'd like to do so, and I'm moving some things around to see how that would look. I think I just wind up picking up the Rainbow Unicorn just to add one more character to the board. The main thing that does, and the main reason that I'm playing the Time Flies in the front row, it reduces my Doom Breaths. It reduces the chance that my Doom Breath gets attacked into, and means that I'm more likely to be able to attack with the Doom Breath. So that does definitely help us a lot. We also get the Slay there with the Aeon, so our spells are going to be even a little bit cheaper. And then I'll pick up another Spellweaver. And then we'll hit level 6, we'll pick up another Aeon, and we will just proceed to do some crazy hat ball shenanigans here. Spells go on the Friendly Spirit if we can't find a better place to put them. And then we're just going to cast as many other spells as we can outside of that. So, yeah, things are looking pretty good. Sorry, just taking a look at some people talking on the Discord. But no more distractions. We pick up a Scion of the Storm and then end the turn by grabbing a Cat's Call. And like I said, eventually now, I think we could potentially look to toss the Merlin's Hat. We also have to realize that, like, we're now very, very strong. Not only are we no longer at 12 HP, but most of the rest of this lobby isn't level 6. Now, this Horde Dragon is, because they found a Wand of Weirding and they were able to pick up some XP spells themselves, but they're also not nearly as strong as we are. We hit them for 15 damage, put them down to the bottom of the lobby. Now we're at 19 health. We are almost on top of this lobby, so just a really crazy turnaround altogether. Pumpkin, I'll take it. Definitely would have appreciated some other things too, but I like this more than the bear stand. That was doing nothing for us. So, yeah, that one's pretty good. We'll throw a Fiercify onto one of our Spellweavers. That could have gone onto an Aeon, to be totally honest. And then I'll finish off the turn with a Genie's Wish to pump it up. And then this shop is really good. It gives us the opportunity to pick up a Baba Yaga, which means that we could definitely toss this Merlin's Hat. And it gives us a Scion of the Storm and a Tier 6 treasure, which is another potential way to toss this Merlin's Hat. So looking to do that next turn if I can find Wand of Weirding, 9th Book of Merlin, or probably Pandora's Box would do the same. So yeah, all of this is looking pretty good. Now my first Aeon doesn't slay, my second one does. So a little bit tricky in terms of if we're ready to toss the hat yet or not, but I'm happy to report we are now first place in this lobby, so that is really cool. I do go for an Evil Twin here first to cast some spells before basically the idea is cast some spells before I pick up the Scion of the Storm, because then my spells are going to be more expensive. So this might look like a little bit of a weird play. Obviously, if I take the Scion of the Storm, then my characters are able to roll into those shops, but this was specifically because I knew I was going to be tossing the hat, and I had only slayed with Aeon once this turn. We'll pick up this Baba Yaga, and that should help keep my spells cheap in future turns, and you'll actually see we've got a bonus unit to play. We've got a bonus Spellweaver here, so all of this is going great. All of a sudden on top of the lobby, which I just think is hilarious to go from on the verge of defeat to having an absolutely massive mages comp like we do, and even a croc filled with a pumpkin, so that can spawn some nice little units for us. Aeon is going to get the Slay, and then Aeon's 2 out of 3 to grab the Slay, and grabs another one. So our spells cost 4 less this turn. We're definitely looking more powerful than this Skip, who is also hat-balling, but we're just hat-balling even bigger. So yeah, this one should be pretty nice, and we get the kill over onto Skip. Now we're definitely in first place as we move on to the finals. Could pick up an Aeon triple here, but I think with our spells costing 4 less, I should just roll and try to cast some spells. Now, Spellweaver, this one I should take, actually. So I am going to grab that Spellweaver, and we'll just skip the treasure there. Maybe I would have taken Treasure Map, I'm not sure, but we don't have to worry about it because we did not find it. Now, Pigomorph is really, really tempting there, but I think we can just grab a whole bunch more stats. Again, Pigomorph, very tempting to me, but I'm going to see if we can cast some more spells in this turn. We still have a bunch of gold, so let's try to do it to it. We'll True Love's Kiss this up into a baby bear. We'll put the pumpkin even deeper into a bunch of crocs, and what that does is make the pumpkin spawn even more tier 6 characters, or tier 5 characters rather, and also makes those summons a little bit bit more delayed, which is nice. That the croc is still not activated. It's so many crocs deep here. It will eventually get cracked into. My Aeon's still alive, so we're not really going to see full use out of that, but we get a Cupid. That is nice enough, and that's going to allow us to snag the win there. Really sweet game. Fantastic ending board. We didn't even get to go that crazy with it because we killed the rest of the lobby. But that's what happens sometimes. We still got to do some sweet stuff in the meantime. But that is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. Let me know on the Discord if you have had any really close calls where you were about to die and then we're able to turn some things around, or feel free to drop a comment. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and that'll be really sweet. But that is going to be it for me today here. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace.